Morning. Been waiting quite a while. It's weird. Yeah, it was important. Find a spot up there. Yeah, find a light, look out. A lot to look at. So it's so. Back. For calling. You got a folder stuff.
Mine's not on yet, but it will be.
Yeah,
so that's red.
The microphone, the button.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the BOCC statutory meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, July 21st, and the time is 9:01 a.m. We will call this meeting to order. First up, we have Ron McFeeters from Amazing Grace Fellowship to offer our invocation.
Good morning, everyone. Heavenly Father, Almighty God, we thank you for today. We thank you for this commission, for all those in this room. We pray for your divine wisdom and knowledge and all that it's required to serve the position that each of you contain. Lord, we also lift up the fires and all that's going on and all the crisis teams that are working together. We thank you for them. No, Lord, only you know. And we thank you for that. And we know that you have all the answers. So we thank you now, and we ask that you would continue to work with the fires and with this commission and with the citizens of this county, that we might glorify you and that we might help one another. And we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much. That'll bring us to our Pledge of Allegiance. Brendan, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will take attendance, beginning with Trish.
Trish Turner, Chief Human Resources Officer.
Brendan Hirsch, Interim County Attorney.
Paula McFeeters.
Zach Swearingen.
Miles Lucero.
Robert Choi, CEO.
Thank you all for being in attendance and welcome to our new CAO, Robert. And we will get more into a little bit more robust introduction later on in the meeting. And good to have you up here too, Trish, and good to have all of you in the audience. I think it's all just staff. So nobody from the public likes us today or wants to yell at us enough to show up. That'll bring us into public comment. I did not have anybody on the sheet out there. Anybody here want to wear a different hat and just say something from the public? Nope. Okay. That'll bring us into our consent agenda, Mr. Hurd.
Mr. Chair, I think we need to approve the agenda today first.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Are there any modifications to
No.
today's agenda? I will ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Now that'll bring us into our consent
We
agenda.
have one consent agenda item, which is a resolution approving submission of a letter of request for emergency watershed protection program assistance.
So I can speak to this one, Commissioners. Yesterday, somebody from the USDA contacted me along with our staff member Beth Hayes and informed us of the possibility of this emergency watershed protection program. What it allows is the USDA, by kicking off the process today in the form of submitting this letter, declaring that the county would like to be a sponsor of this program, it opens us up for funding for watershed protection specifically. So my understanding of the process, in the couple conversations that I've had, are we send this letter, the USDA will come in and do an assessment of the entirety of the affected area from the fire and determine kind of what costs they believe, what infrastructure upgrades are necessary to protect the watersheds. The county, they will pay for 75% of those costs. The county will share a 25% cost. They did indicate that if we ask the state really nicely, that there may be some cost sharing available through the state for our 25%. Those are conversations that, of course, will have to be had in the future. But from my perspective, if and when we experience a flooding event, we're going to be responsible for it financially to some extent. So as far as I see it, we may as well initiate this process to ask the USDA for that financial help. And knowing that there's a rather large burn scar. I'm sure folks have seen some of the videos. The ground is impenetrable because the fire burned so hot in some areas. So I think the right thing to do is kick off this process, let the USDA get in here and do their evaluations. Then we can have those conversations about cost sharing, what this might actually look like full scope cost for the entirety of the upgrades.
So this is the initial piece of this. They come in, they evaluate, they do all that, and then we start talking numbers and.
Yes, we'll put together a statement of work that then kind of becomes the contract by which the county and the USDA are bound. So yes, this is the preliminary step. They believe that it sounded like within a week they'd be able to come in here and do that assessment to kind of get a feel for where they believe the cost will land.
Okay. I know that, yeah, I mean, we've had tons of meetings on recovery and cleanup, and that's the ideal situation of reimbursement is the 75% and then the 25%, and then the splitting of the 25 with the state to put us at the 12.5, which may not seem like a large percentage, and maybe it's not out of 100, but when you put those dollar figures to that percentage, it's a lot of money. It's a ton of money. And, talking with a bunch of folks in here today, I'm glad that we are preemptively looking at what that land looks like and the potential for flooding, because yeah, I mean, it's a real possibility once we get some rain to have some flash flooding. So we're talking about chipping and all that stuff too. So I don't see any issues if it's not committing us to any dollar amount or anything right now, but them just coming in and doing an initial look. Yeah, we might as well take help where we can get it.
Totally
Yeah.
agree. And I think the upside to this USDA program compared to a lot of the FEMA programs that we've been talking about is FEMA will be decided by the administration in the White House. This sounds like it's all but guaranteed as long as we're willing to be that sponsor
Right.
that will share the cost.
Yeah, I think that's literally something we cannot not do. We
Okay.
have to prepare for that. The other thing I would say, and the things that in the conversations I've been in, is really encouraging those that live in these areas that have returned home and been able to not be affected by the fire, is to make sure you also have flood insurance. We can only do so much at the government level, and I think that's the frustration. We can do these kinds of things, but in terms of owning a home, it's another worry for those that are in those areas to make sure they have the appropriate flood coverage, because now you're looking at this as a potential that could create problems. So I think hand in hand, working together with the USDA is an excellent progress towards developing a watershed plan and making sure we're ready. It's inevitable that we're going to get some moisture at some point, and you're right, it's impenetrable to the ground, so it's going to shed down. So I'm glad that this is happening, and hopefully as we move through the process, whatever we need to do next, let's do it.
Well said. Thank you, Mr. Hirsch, for getting this turned around so quickly. Appreciate that.
Ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. That'll bring us into our regular agenda, Mr. Hirsch.
Our first regular agenda item, 3A, is a resolution approving the reorganization of the Pueblo County Department of Human Resources and related position eliminations. And we have our CHRO here to present.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This reorganization was one of the first tasks after I was brought on board to unify what was in existence as two separate HR teams the two teams running absolutely independently of each other and dividing all of the actual process flows and duties of the former Human Resources Department. On the surface appeared as if they had several duplications in terms of efficiencies that could be made. So one of the first tasks that I completed after being brought on board was to do a needs assessment of those process flows to ensure that we weren't with additional FTE. I have since formulated a new team, whereas several positions have now been consolidated where more than one process flow is being done by more than one FTE. And so that is the submission to eliminate duplication of efforts and improve efficiencies under one umbrella, under one team, unified under myself and one HR director.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you and your team. And change is always hard. But quite frankly, it's needed. We had many conversations on our budget last year. This is a small piece of that. In addition to that, and I've had these conversations with you, Trish, and others. I mean, it's a twofold issue of one, our efficiencies and our ability to provide the best services to this community. In addition to that, money, and our budget and where we're at, and us trying to say that we're, all hunky-dory up here with our budget, we're not. So this is a step towards that, in addition to right-sizing this organization for the services and our general population and what we can provide to the people out there. So I thank you and thank everybody in HR who have worked this issue, and to the folks that may have been shifted out. We certainly appreciate the service that you have given us.
Ms. Turner, can you touch on, I know you have a couple pending positions to still hire underneath this structure, but can you talk about to the point of a salary savings benefit for the restructure? Can you talk about where you think you'll land ballpark salaries prior, salaries after this reorganization for your department?
Salaries prior and base pay only. We're not talking about total compensation with the cost of the benefits. Just a base pay analysis is a variant of over $400,000 in savings. 1.628 and change prior, and it should land somewhere around 1.1, 1.2 when we finish hiring the last three.
Thank you, ma'am. And then I also did want to highlight for the folks in the room, for the entire organization, kind of the process that you went through after you did a needs analysis and determined these are the 12 positions that are needed. You posted every single one of those positions as new positions. They were posted externally, so we took candidates from the outside, from the inside, and you had a interview panel of how many?
There were four of us from various leadership roles across the county. Myself included, I was 25% of the vote. And the four panelists all cast a series of scores that afforded us an opportunity to select the best candidates.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think it was an extremely thorough process. I think it was a extremely transparent process, and I appreciate you. It feels like you've been here a long time, but this was really a big accomplishment in just a couple months that you've been here. So thank you. We appreciate you. And to Commissioner Swearingen's point about those that have served in the prior two HR departments, we appreciate all the work and the asset that you have been to Pueblo County. Our people are what make this organization great. And that goes for people that have worked here in the past and people that will continue with us in the future. So thank you for all the hard work. I'm glad that this big hurdle is almost behind us because there's plenty of work to do going forward.
Yes, there is. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a few things about this change, and I know it's a huge one for our organization, but coming in January of 25, that was one of my goals, was looking at HR. I'd never seen an organization with two separate HR entities working separately, doing separate things. I saw a lot of process flows that were not working well, and it's been on my strategic plan for myself, the number one or two item to get done. prior to knowing the budget situation we were in. It just didn't make fiscal sense. It hasn't made operational sense. And I'm really pleased that we were able to hire someone with that ability to analyze the department very fairly and say, what are the duties that are needed? And the process by which you used of having external people from HR on your committee to review those positions is very important, because those are the folks that work directly with HR when they're hiring. So I want to commend you for that. I know there are those in the room that probably don't agree with the decisions, and those in the county that may be looking at it and not understanding it. But from my seat in my chair coming into this job, making our county government more accountable and feasible, and really looking at that role of what does HR do, gives you as an employee the ability to know that you've been hired for a purpose and hired in a way that reflects what we need to do at this county. And so I know change is hard. I get that. I don't really relish being a change agent, but there are moments that has to happen in an organization. So we do appreciate everyone who has worked in our HR department over the years. This is not a reflection on you or your abilities. It's just a needed change to get our county back in line, both fiscally and operationally, with what needs to happen to move us forward. And I think this board, we've thought a lot about it, and it's definitely been on all of our minds. That's the one small thing we could start with, was consolidating an HR department and making it work better for this county is the first step to the larger issues we have. And I would concur with Commissioner Swearengin. Our budget situation remains an issue. And now we have a fire on top of that. So there are plenty of challenges for us to look at as a county. And I know everyone wants to question the why and the how of some of the things we do. We are working really hard to make this work for the county and to work for our constituents. And part of that process requires really looking inward and finding the things we can do better, more efficiently. At the same time, we also have disaster that we've got to deal with. It's going to cost the county as well. And so, as Commissioner Lucero brought forward, ideas, grant opportunities, we're looking for everything and anything we can to get this county back in financial footing that it needs to be. Not to say it's not without challenge. It still is a challenge. But this is one of the very first steps I saw we needed to take to get there. So for me, this is a big accomplishment of our organization to have a one unified HR department with a strong leader who comes in with a lot of knowledge and a lot of ability. And I can say, Trish, I'm really excited for your leadership of this organization, and everyone that's in HR, thank you. Those of you that have been in HR, thank you. It's a decision that was difficult to make for all of us, but it's the right decision for our organization. And so I'm glad to see things moving forward. Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you. I will ask for a motion to approve item 3A.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Our last item, 3B, is a resolution approving the temporary reduction of wrecking permit fees. And we have Arnold Montoya here to present.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Thank you for having me here today. What I'm asking, I'll talk a little bit about demo permits. Okay, demo permits, it's been basically, valued, it's issued by valuation of scope of job, scope of work, and it's averaging around $250. We ran some numbers, and what I'm asking today is that we reduce the fee down to $100 for a demo permit. I think our staff can handle a one-time inspection, cover cost without hurting the community financially for the victims of the fire. So I'm asking if you would reduce our fees down to $100 temporarily, so we can help our process as well. Usually it's about a one-time inspection. Occasionally we'll have a second inspection, but it's not very often. It's about 90% of the time it's a one-time inspection. And I believe we can absorb that through the building division.
Arnold, can you talk about when somebody, whether they're affected by this fire or just in general, needs to come to us for one of these demo fees or demo permits?
So a demo permit is usually when a house is condemned and it needs to come all the way down. Contractor usually pays a fee approximately around $500 for removal of debris scraping of the ground, capping of all the utilities, and disposal of the debris into a landfill. The cost is normally right around $500. That's average for a house of about 400,000 square foot home.
And currently, the fee itself is based on the valuation of the structure that did exist. on
It's the
that spot.
valuation of the scope of the work, what it takes to take the house
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Just for clarification, Arnold, this reducing of the fee is only for people affected by the fire to $100.
Correct, correct. I think, that helps our community,
Yeah.
get started on their cleanup process, without giving any financial burden to homeowners and, in the area.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the best explanations that I had heard from everybody for the need for demo fees, because, why do I have to pay a fee when I'm just ripping this house down? I think one of the biggest things is utilities, right?
It is the utilities, and that's part of what our inspection is making sure the utilities are capped off proper. So we don't have another incident, and put anybody in harm's way, especially homeowners.
Right.
So point of clarification, the reso reads that the fees are temporarily reduced to $100 and shall be applicable to all applicants. So the statement that it was just people affected by the fire, we need to make sure we're on the same page, because the way that this reads is all applicants, and that was my understanding, is that we were making it $100 for the time being for anybody that came to the county for a demo permit.
Commissioner, what I would love to do is reassess that in a month from now. I think my focus right now is to help the Aspen Acres fire. And I believe that we're going to be able to do this, cost effectively. And in a month from now, I'll be able to come back to this board and ask that we put it permanent for
Everybody?
everybody
Okay.
all across the county.
Yes, we need to change the language in.
And that's
So-
fine. I mean, my preference would be just to make it $100. If you're comfortable with it and you think it makes sense, $100 for the next month for all applicants, just like the reso reads, and then we can reassess.
And I'm good with that. I think we can handle it. Typically we have about, 5 to 10 demo permits a year.
Okay.
So we're not talking about a lot of money,
Right.
Per year.
Sure.
but-
And the likelihood of somebody from outside the affected fire area coming in for a demo permit is,
Right.
5
yeah, yeah.
in the year.
Max.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're doing things to help the fire victims, so I know that I thought that we'd gone back and forth a little bit on it, but yeah, if we wanna make it as the reso reads for $100 for everybody, if you're okay with that, Arnold, I mean, we've had conversations about trying to reduce our fees across the board on permit fees, to try and spur on growth and things like that, so. I mean, if you guys are good with it.
Yeah, we ran the numbers, my staff and I, we ran the numbers. $100 is plenty.
Yeah.
I think that covers cost. Again, we're not here to make a profit, but I do want to cover at least cost.
Right.
And that will do that. I mean, $100 is sufficient.
Arnold, I want to commend you and your team as you've been actively involved in assessing structures and doing all the things that you're doing with this fire. And I think one of the things I really appreciate is in standing up the building department, we wanted to be the place that made it easier for people. And reducing this fee is the very first good gesture of saying to those that have gone through this event, we're here to help you. We want to do the best we can to help you, and reducing that fee down to that amount really is a helpful gesture right now because many are facing the cleanup and all the things. So I want to say thank you for being forward thinking that way. And as you learn more and get more information about what is needed out in the field, please advise this board. We want a building department that can say yes. Of course, we need to meet our costs. We need to meet the basic things, but beyond that, we want to be able to help. And so I appreciate your ability to look at this fee and say, we should reduce that and make it easier for folks. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. without you getting out of here, just to give you one more compliment, I was just at a birthday party for one of my kids and talking to a couple guys who are contractors and just singing you guys' praises across the board as a building department. Said maybe the first month or two there were some hiccups and learning things and everything else, but they were like, it's unbelievable how efficient and effective that permitting process is through the county. So we appreciate y'all.
Oh, absolutely. We couldn't do it alone. It's a team effort, with you guys' help and, the group that, in planning and development. I mean, we're all working together in tandem and it's really great. Again, thank you guys for your support. Hopefully, we're also, looking at the fees across the board. And I should be able to give a nice, good report at the end of the year. My goal is to, hopefully we can reduce even more.
Yeah.
And still be, covering our cost.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, sir.
I will ask for a motion to approve item 3B.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. That will bring us into commissioner comments. I can go first. I can be super quick. Just went out to the fair this weekend and saw Beth out there, and she had said, really that they're pretty good on most things. Grass hay is something that they're looking at, needing, but I know that she sent all of us an email that they're gonna have producer meetings, some ag producer meetings coming up starting tomorrow, the 28th at Good Pasture Barn at 6:30 PM, and then Thursday, the 29th at Hatchet Ranch venue space at 7 PM. And it's aimed for ag resources and speaking about community waypoints for hay and fencing supplies, because as I think a lot of us have known for a while, there's so many ways that this fire is going to be impacting us moving forward. And the ag piece is a very big piece. There were a lot of cattle that were grazing up there, horses, everything else like that. But cattle, I think, is probably one of the biggest. It is the biggest. I know that she was having some issues with chickens over the weekend, but chickens can be chickens. So yeah, just thank you. Thank you to everybody that is continuing to work this, day in and day out. And this is going to be a continuing process. And the only other thing that I would say is, welcome to Robert for making the trip across the country, or halfway across the country, basically. And we look forward to having you here, to bringing your experience and your suggestions. And I think that we are assembling a very, very good team to move this county forward in the right direction. I think that this format is so good for so many different reasons. And you are just a big piece of this organization now, so we welcome you aboard.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that.
Okay, so instead of giving too many specifics about fire recovery stuff, I think I'll just continue to point folks to puebloemergency.info. As we start to look toward recovery, there are a lot more resources there for what you need to do now that folks are returning back home. So I want to continue to encourage you to go to puebloemergency.info. Some of the things that folks need to know right now that the county is doing is we're really working hard on debris management resources. So we're trying to make it easy for folks who are able to return home, that are clearing off their properties. We want to give them the best access possible to dumpsters, to places for their burned up washers and dryers. We have worked a really good negotiation with the Pueblo landfill. They are taking all debris types right now at a discounted rate for those affected by the fire. All of this information, again, is on puebloemergency.info. Make sure you contact your insurance, folks. If you have insurance on your home, that should be the first call you're making, so that you ensure that you're getting reimbursed to the fullest extent that your insurance policy allows. Documentation is a key part of all of this, both for the county and for individual homeowners. As you start to clean up your homes, especially if you're insured, make sure you're documenting everything possible. A couple of other big items on our radar is, one is drinking water. We are well aware of the fact that Colorado City, Beulah are struggling a little bit with clean water. Beulah, I believe, just put residents on a stage 3 water restriction. I'm sorry if that's not completely accurate, but there is some level of water restriction in Beulah, and we are in communication with the localities to determine how the county can help when it comes to safe and clean drinking water for folks. I wanted to touch on the idea of the county subsidizing costs or foregoing fees for certain things as we move forward. You know, it's easy to look at the county and say, well, why would the county need $100? You know, can't you just help people out? The reality of this entire situation is that there are costs associated with everything that we're doing in all of this, and we're not totally sure where the money's going to come from. We don't know that we're going to get reimbursed for certain things. So, you know, to look at the county government and say, well, they should just be giving things and foregoing fees. At the end of the day, it's not this organization that takes a hit. It's everybody, all the taxpayers in the community are the ones subsidizing anything that we decide to forego as far as fees, as far as resources that we're willing to pay for. It's the entirety of the community paying for those things. So I would really strongly encourage folks to not just look at this as like the government is being stingy and the commissioners won't pay for things. We are trying to be fiscally responsible. We have the entire community to consider. So, just kind of philosophically shifting that paradigm of, the county needs to pick this up. The county needs to cover this. It's all of us that are covering the cost of all of this right now. Every time the government decides to subsidize something. And last but not least, the county fair is still going on, folks. And I wanted to encourage, it's not as open to the public, but there are opportunities to take your little ones out there to see the animals, and really support those young people that spend the entirety of their year preparing for this week. One important note is the showcase sale has shifted times. It's going to be much earlier. This is one big public event that is still open to the public. So the showcase sale doors will open at 10:30 a.m. This is this coming Saturday, and the sale will kick off at 1 p.m. So it's a little bit earlier in the day than folks are used to. So please, I encourage you, if you've been a supporter of the fair in the past, or if you've been curious about what the fair looks like, our county fair is amazing. And we've had folks, adults and kids alike, work really hard to make sure that the fair goes off this year, and kids are still given that opportunity. So if you're able to go out there, support the kids, buy an animal, it would be greatly appreciated, because it's unfortunate timing, but people are working really hard to make it happen. So I just wanted to make sure that people do know that the county fair is going on and get over there to support if possible. I think that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's been an interesting 3 weeks at Pueblo County. I think looking back, a natural disaster of this size, I don't recall one hitting our county, at least in my lifetime. So it's been a big learning curve for many of us. The one thing I would like to add to what you've said, and you very well said, when it comes in relation to the fire and how it's affecting individuals, the most important thing you can do as a homeowner is contact your insurance if you have insurance. If you don't, relying on those free services that are volunteer organizations that have come into our community. One of them, Samaritan's Purse, is just a big example. They will come in, they will help you sort through what is left. Utilizing the free resources is absolutely necessary if you don't have insurance. And those agencies are ready and willing to help. I think we have 5 different organizations that have come in. They are ready to be deployed. Crisis, Anthony, help me out. It's crisissomething.org. Do you remember
The hotline?
the crisis yeah, can you put that up on the screen? If you need assistance in helping with your property, this is an important one to look at, and it's free to you as a homeowner. There are those that are uninsured, and that's the other side of the coin, is that what do we do if you don't have insurance? Well, utilizing these free resources is the first step. I've also had people ask about United Way funding. When is that going to be deployed? How is it going to be deployed? And I want to be honest with you, they are working on that right now. They've raised over $1 million to help victims. Here it is, Crisis Cleanup Team. and the disaster survivor portal. These are two things that you need to do if you're a homeowner in these affected areas. But as far as United Way funding, I'm looking at that, and what I'm hearing and seeing from that group is it will be long-term funding. It's not going to be funding available for this particular moment in time. They have to figure out a structure for how those funds will be delivered, what mechanisms will be used, and it's made up of a committee of people all deciding that right now. I'm not on the committee. I'm an observer just to see how the work is being done. If you don't want to give to United Way and you want to do something immediately, there are plenty of churches in our community doing work, helping, doing the thing. You can donate to them individually for that purpose. But the larger scheme of this fire, and I wanted to dovetail with what you said, Commissioner, this is a long-term event. This will not end when the fire ends. And frankly, the fire is still going. And when the fire does end, we're talking years of recovery for folks. So funding will be critical, and any money given to United Way will probably be where that long-term funding comes into play. How and where, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to decide on that, but I just wanted to give you an update. I went to that meeting last night, and they're still discussing how to best serve our community with the generosity of other people. So again, all those funds stay in Pueblo. They are not going to the National United Way. They are really for this purpose, and it goes into a fund for this purpose. So really good way to give. The last thing is the Colorado City hosted an event last night for the update on the Aspen Acres fire, and it was really informative. They have a weather person. They have a fire behavioral analyst, which I never heard of such a thing, but he was amazing. He talked about fire behavior. This fire last night about 4:30, I noticed a huge plume of smoke in the direction of Ryan. Of course, I was very concerned about what that meant. The weather yesterday was super dry and hot. Today is supposed to be super dry and hot. And when the wind blows, that's what we have to worry about. So I know there are still some that are frustrated that they can't get home. But the one thing I did hear last night that was really something I wanted to share today, we have fire hotshots from across the country, from California, Oregon, all over. The one thing they had to say about our community was they have never felt so welcomed and so appreciated fighting a fire in any community they've been in, which was kind of stunning to hear. But where they're from, they're used to getting criticized, yelled at, mistreated. But when they came to our fire, they have been overwhelmed by the generosity of our community to want to help, to feed them, to thank them, to wave signs on a roadside, to say thank you. And I found that was a wow moment for me, because I know in the midst of crisis and disaster, there's a flood of emotions about what's going on and who to blame and where to point fingers. But the ones trying to help us out there that are really putting their lives on the line are the ones we should be thankful for. The ones that we should say thank you for exposing themselves to the smoke and the debris and all the heat. But I was especially proud that they said this particular fire in this particular place, they have received nothing but kindness. And I want to say thank you to our community. I know it's hard. I've heard, and I know many of you are not at home. You've been forced to live somewhere you don't want to live for a period of time, but your patience and your appreciation has meant a lot to those that are helping us. So I wanted to say thank you to our community. It made me feel so much better to know that in deep within their hearts, they feel the appreciation. They know it's hard, but they're doing their work. And we as Pueblo County have made them feel the best they could feel in this situation that they're in. So thank you, everybody, for reflecting what we know Pueblo is. It's a kind community. It's a generous community, and it's one that's very thoughtful, and it's being evidenced in the way that we treat those that visit us. So thank you for that. And let's keep doing that. Let's be patient with each other. And lastly, as a board of county commissioners, we have a lot on our plate. And this fire kind of took us in a different direction for a few weeks, and we're still working on everything we need to do with this budget. And I just want to reiterate to you that are watching and have been watching these meetings, the budget's never left my state of mind, and I know it hasn't left yours. It's a process of making decisions operationally that will eventually lead to a healthier financial status for this county. But I want to tell you, to get it all done in this year will be a challenge. We can make motions, we can move the ship and turn the rudder, but turning the entire ship in a year is pretty difficult. And I want to set the expectation level. We are making incremental change to get the bigger results. And it may not happen all in 1 year, but we're sure going to try to do the best we can. We've hired the best staff we can find to help us get there. So I just want to reiterate that. We have not taken our eye off the ball of what our responsibilities are as this board. And of course, we've had a another challenge added to it, why not? Why not? Just add one more thing to the plate of challenges this board has had. We welcome challenge. And we have worked together to find solutions, and we will continue to do that. I would just ask our staff to give us the time with our new leadership team, give us time to develop the processes and the workflows that need to happen. And if you have questions, certainly reach out to us. We want to hear your feedback, but please know at the end of this, we want to see a healthier public county government, not just for those that work here, but for our citizens. One that's responsive, one that meets the needs of the community, and one that can be trusted. And that's what we're working on every day diligently. I know each commissioner and myself and our team. That's our goal, and that's where we're headed. And I want to say thank you for your patience. I don't think any one of us ever thought we would face what we've faced in this last year. And we have been able to do it because we work together. Even though there are moments we don't agree, we agree on what our job is, and we are doing it for you all. And I'm open always to hear feedback and suggestions. We can always do things better, and we want to. But if you could give us a little bit of time in this coming week or two to kind of get affiliated with our leadership team and be open to the answers you receive as we receive feedback. We are open to feedback, but we also want to make sure that we do the thing that we were hired to do. And that's to make Pueblo County government a place that really supports our community and works for you all. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Just one quick caveat, just on the crisis cleanup. Yeah, I agree. Insurance and our conversations are, quite frankly, there's an insurance path and there's a non-insured or an underinsured path, but we need everybody to register through that crisis cleanup team because that helps the community as a whole. So whether or not you even had to throw food away, but you were evacuated, please get on there and register through there. And just really quickly, a shout out to just a lot of the local businesses too. We're dealing with a lot of metal issues in Rinsingum, so we need water up there. But some of the local scrap yards are taking metal at no cost just for the scrap price itself. So, I mean, everybody is stepping up. Had conversations with water delivery people yesterday. Like everybody is really stepping up, and we certainly appreciate that. So we thank you all. Our next meeting will be on July 20th.
Chair?
Yep.
Would it be appropriate to have Mr. Choi introduce himself and kind
Yeah,
of
you want to do it?
let folks know?
You want to do it now or in the work session? We can do it now, Robert.
More people watch this.
Yeah, that's true. You want to get put on the spot real quick and
Sure.
tell us your life story?
In 2 minutes. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, commissioners. A little bit about myself. As a public sector consultant, I have helped public organizations across transportation, higher education, shelter services, pension systems, strengthen accountability and performance. Previously, I served as the Deputy Chief People Officer of the Metropolitan Transportation Agency, overseeing workforce operations for 70,000 employees. Earlier, I led intelligence community training and culture at the Central Intelligence Agency, earning recognition from the Director of Office of National Intelligence. You ask why this role? I think that counties have a vital operating role in American government. Nationally, 3,069 counties operate 91% of local jails, support more than 1,900 local public health departments, help sustain thousands of 911 answering centers, and administer elections on which every other level of government depends. Professional administration is also a common form of stewardship in local government. The ICMA reports that more than 73% of U.S. cities, towns, and counties with residents of 2,500 or more rely on professionally structured management. And in that context, I believe my first responsibilities are to listen, to learn the county's operations and priorities, support the board's direction, and work productively with department leaders and C-suite peers. And for me, working in government, making it smarter, is about creating momentum, helping good people work together, removing obstacles, and turning the board's priorities into lasting results for the community. and the people of Pueblo. And as someone who has worked in and studied government for almost 20 years, I can say that there are going to be challenges ahead, but I am familiar with what lies ahead. Personally, I am stunned and deeply moved by Pueblo's beauty, people, and possibility. In fact, upon moving here a few days ago, I was driving on, the interstate, and I had the thought that coming from New York City, where it's a concrete jungle, and you can't really see the sun that well at any time. I can say that I had the thought that Pueblo's sunrises and sunsets are like being kissed by God. That's literally a thought I had. And coming from New York, it's my hometown, not knocking it. I love New York City. But the fact is that you can be surrounded by thousands of people living on your same block, and in some cases in your same building, and really never have any sense of connection, belonging, or togetherness. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to being a tax-paying part of Pueblo's community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very well said. And as we alluded to before, we're certainly welcome, or we're certainly excited to have you. And yeah, I hear the same sentiment from people coming in from outside of Pueblo often of sometimes, you don't know what you're blessed with in a community, and other people coming in and saying, look at even your architecture. And again, yeah, I know that people can get claustrophobic back east too, especially in the city. But then being out here in the wide open expanses of this community is something different. But your resume, your interactions with us so far have been nothing but impressive. And we look forward to your leadership and helping to get this county in the right direction.
Same. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. All right, our next meeting will be July 23rd, 2026. I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.